Hello again, I'm Eric, and I'm back with more geek news than you can shake your +2 mace at. I'm here to talk about Geekon, which is October 23rd through the 25th in Madison at the Madison Sheraton. And with me today, I've got three people representing Geekon. I've got Natalie Mainland, the con chair. I have Sarah Bloy, who is the events coordinator, and I've got Evan Cotter, the PR head. So, you guys just go ahead, take a bit of time, introduce yourselves, tell us what you do. So, Natalie, go on ahead.
I'm Natalie. I am con co-chair. Basically what I do is make sure that stuff that needs to be done gets done, and I step in wherever needed.
I'm Sarah. I'm panels coordinator and events coordinator, and I basically get to oversee the schedule and make sure that all the fun stuff is happening.
I'm Evan, and I'm the PR head. I make sure that everyone who could possibly ever know about Geekon hears about Geekon and comes to Geekon.
All right, so we hear about Geekon, we come to Geekon, but in your own words, folks, please tell us, what is Geekon?
Geekon is a multi-genre convention in Madison, Wisconsin. We're not just an anime con, not just a sci-fi con. If it's geeky, we either have it or we want to. It's a place where geeks of any type can come, get together, have fun, meet new people, learn new things, and enjoy being geeks.
Sarah?
Geekon is all that she said and more. We're a community of geeks and geeks in the community. We have outreach programs in the Madison area, and we have outreach programs to other conventions, and just making a community out of being a geek.
So it's not just the geek community, you guys reach out to the actual Madison community as well. You do charity work and things like that?
Yeah, this year we're having a Save versus Hunger drive, which is to benefit the Second Harvest Food Bank of Dane County. And it's, you donate a food item and you get a raffle ticket for a giant plushie D20, which I have not made yet, but I will be making.
Plushie D20, I may have to get in on that. All right, Evan, to you, what is Geekon?
Well, Geekon is a place where geeks of all different kinds can meet together, share experiences, learn different things, and just have a sense of camaraderie. When I first went to Geekon, I came for the anime, and I ended up not watching any anime at all. I ended up actually meeting Sarah and the rest of them, and spending my whole time doing Steam Century, actually.
So, Madison's a fairly cosmopolitan city. I mean, you've got the University of Wisconsin-Madison there. You've got, there's a big medical operation going on there. So you probably have people of all different ages, races, genders, creeds, whatever. And they all can come in and see everything that is to offer, even if they're just a little bit geeky over at Geekon, right? Okay. So, I've got you three here, and we got a couple more of the Geekon faithful in the audience here today. And, but who else really makes this convention possible?
Well, all the guests that we bring in. Like this year we've got voice actor Kylie Bear is coming in. We have from the gaming industry Aaron Pavao. Fantasy author Chad Corey is going to be with us. Ravensoft, which is a video game company. We've got some musical guests, the Spoonie Bards, and also a local band called Fermata. What am I missing?
Steam Century.
Oh, Steam Century. How can I forget them? I'm part of them.
So you've mentioned Steam Century twice, and we mentioned earlier when we were talking that steampunk, the steampunk movement has really taken over the world of science fiction. So tell me just a little bit about what steampunk is.
Steampunk is a kind of a media genre that has a lot of kind of different, more subtle subgenres to them. Like there's clock punk, there's diesel punk, which are a little bit more specific, but steampunk kind of covers all of them. I think Jules Verne is kind of your original steampunk kind of thing. It's characterized by sort of a neo-Victorian kind of fashion sense, and you've got gears and clockwork kind of entering into it, and that sort of thing.
So, blending one ideal culture with another ideal culture, as it were.
Yep.
All right, sorry, history nerd had to make the reference. All right, so, Geekon is at the Madison Sheraton. It's October 23rd through 25th. 24-hour con, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
This year it is moving to 24 hours. Am I right on that? All
Yes.
right. And it's just a little bit of money this year to get in, right?
Yes.
In previous years, we were able to have free admission because we were run through the University of Wisconsin-Madison, but this year we've broken away, we've expanded, we've got better space, more space, and in order to cover that, we do have to charge admission, but it's still pretty low.
What's the admission price?
Admission price for a weekend badge, if you pre-register, is $20. If you show up at the door, it's going to be $25.
So, $25 to show up at the door, or $20 to pre-register, and I can be there with 1,000 other geeks to get my geek on, as it were, at Geekon. See my anime, see my sci-fi, see my comic books, all of that, just for $25. Certainly seems like a great way to spend a weekend, and certainly seems like a great way to really start someone on the geek culture. I mean, I know for myself, I still consider myself sort of a low-level geek, you know, a level 1 geek, if you will. So I still have some training to do. I still have to learn a couple more spells. So I could go to Geekon by myself, not feel like I was a loser, not feel like I was not knowledgeable enough about something. I could go there with what little I have, see everything they've got, and really kind of let my geek colors fly.
Oh, definitely. That's one of the things we pride ourselves on. We're very welcoming to anybody who, you know, maybe you don't know so much about certain aspects of geekdom. You can come, you can learn a lot, and you can have fun.
Okay. And I've noticed that a lot of geek things tend to have the same underlying essence to them, so it kind of helps. So, we know why it happens? Do we know why Geekon happens? Why do all of these geeks come together? Why has the geek culture become such a big thing?
Well, there aren't a whole lot of places nowadays that you can go to express your interest in geekdom. Sure, there are local anime clubs, there are gaming groups, there are LARP societies, there's the SCA, but there's a place really that you can do all these sorts of things and share your experiences across different genres like you can at Geekon, which is one of the reasons why we think it's become very popular and why we are trying to expand it even more.
Which I think is fascinating because I grew up in northern Wisconsin, and I thought I was pretty much the only geek for about 200 miles. So to know there are geek conventions in Madison, there's some up in Stevens Point and Wausau and all over the place where the geeks can come together and not feel like, you know, they're getting picked on, which, you know, because that never happened to me, right? But to feel that there is that thing in Wisconsin, and by the way, if you haven't seen Wisconsin in late October, it is beautiful. So to be able to do this and come together like this is really, it's encouraging to me as a native Wisconsinite, and I think it's really, what you guys are doing is fantastic. So how do you get the word out about this? How do you let people know that Geekon is here? Geekon is great, and it's welcome to any geek of any kind.
Well, I guess that would be my job, my description. We do it through a variety of ways. We do cross-advertising with different conventions. We had an ad swap with Anime Central. We had one with No Brand Con. We've done it before with DaishoCon in Stevens Point. We were working with Anime Milwaukee, hopefully this year. We worked with different conventions in a variety of ways. Sometimes we hold room parties, pre-registration parties as well. Also, the internet is incredibly useful for this. We have groups and accounts on a variety of different websites, Facebook, MySpace, our own website, which is www.geekon.net, which is spelled GEEKKON.net. The forums on there are especially useful for these sorts of things. And we also advertise on a variety of different forums for other conventions, because that's what they're there for in large part, was to spread the word between conventions.
Yeah, so definitely things like Geekon wouldn't exist if there weren't things like Anime Central in Chicago to kind of get it going, and then you guys sort of take an idea and run with it, correct?
Yes.
Yes. They've got the anime, but you guys like to serve the whole spectrum. So, Sarah, let me ask you something. You take care of all the panels and everything. What are the goals?
The goals of the panel programming is to really have as wide a variety of topics as possible. Like this year we've got a whole track of panels by the Madison Area Costuming Society. And costuming is something that the panel programming at Geekon has kind of become known for. We've got a whole series of panels on what's being on television in the geek genres, you know, science fiction, fantasy, that sort of thing. Films throughout the year, things like that. We have one panel that is just a couple guys who are going to be up doing comedy for an hour. You know, it's just a lot of different fun, topics.
All right, so that's just a sampling of all the stuff that's on tap at Geekon. That's GEEKON.net. It is October 23rd through the 25th at the Madison Sheraton in Madison, Wisconsin. Hope you all come by and check it out.